now the workshop begins. This process of compassionate communication is actually less about words. It's more about what we're thinking. Because before we open our mouth, something goes on in our heads first. And that something that's going on in our heads is what I would like us to focus the attention on. So what we're going to learn is first a kind of compassion to oneself. When I want to express a request, when I want to express what I would like us to first learn to go inside and find out, okay, what is it that I want? What is it that I'm needing? And then open the mouth. What we're doing habitually, and I may introduce my helpers here, what we do habitually, we have a thought, and we say, I think. And then we say what we think, which may be something really very important to us, but it's coming from the thinking. It's not coming from a combination thinking plus how I feel about it and what I'm needing. So it's just coming from the thinking. And I'm sure you have all experienced that you say what you think and then you're quiet. And then the other person says, well, I think. And the third person, if it happens to be a group of people, the third person says, well, I think. But nobody is really hearing, or maybe hearing but not acknowledging what another person said. Everybody's just sharing her own or his own. And especially in meetings, that leads to hours, really virtually hours of people using their precious time sitting there and saying what they think. And it's precious to them. I can tell from the energy with which they say it. Because fortunately, human communication is not only words. Thank God, 95% to 90%, according to which school we believe in, is non-verbal. So when somebody says something, I think with emphasis and passion, I'm getting that this person is really strongly believing what he or she says and would like to be heard. What he or she gets as a response is, I think, and the second, passionate thinking comes. So, in the end, when decision making starts, everybody is defending their point of view and wants to be right. This is how, in this world of, we call this the jackal world, the habitual thinking, the habitual world, things go. This is not because people are particularly with knowledge doing that, or with attention, or with consciousness. This is just how we function. This is how world goes, how life goes. We haven't learned anything else. So, Rosenberg this is the man who developed this process. He brought in this simple process. And I'm going to bring the sheet from, if it's still there, from last night. Nope, there's something else hanging there, something very nice from the practice group, probably. But not what I brought it last night. So I'll show you again. But at the moment, I just say, he brought in a very simple process. And I know that some of you know it too very well. And I would like you to just hear it for a moment. It's a process that helps us to capture this busy mind that is thinking. For a moment, the busy mind that is thinking about other people or about their situation, it tries to gather it in and is trying to say, okay, what was it that triggered you so hard? That's a question that I'm asking myself. What was it? And here comes what how we're doing this. Oh, you still have it?
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Give me just a moment. Yeah, switch that.
Why write it again if it's on there already? You have very juicy stuff on here. Thank you, Monica, for going around.
I knew he had it somewhere.
Thank you. That's wonderful. So those of you who are new to this components, here they are. That's all how we feed our mind. We give our mind something to do. So it can use, our brain can use our capacity of thinking, but not in judging. Because I'm showing you how we disconnect. And this is how we do it. We have little, maybe one day somebody will be very creative and have styrofoam building blocks for me. And I'll put names on those building blocks and I build them up as I'm talking, so you don't see me at the end anymore. And that's reality. This is exactly what happens. How we manage to disconnect. So I would say one of the bigger blocks that keeps us from really being connected with our soul or heart, or with the soul or heart of another person, is we have a judgment. Let me make an example. A person in a restaurant has a cell phone next to my table, and he is a person who has a big voice. So I'm having my lunch or my dinner and I'm just enjoying myself, and this person is having a conversation on the cell phone in the restaurant. So I'm having a judgment. Mm-hmm. I'm saying, how inconsiderate. Mm-hmm. I can't even eat in peace. I'm not interested in hearing all that conversation. Shall I go on? This person doesn't know the basic law of politeness. Where on earth, I think we should, in the future, one should give out a rule of using of cell phones. Or in restaurants now, unfortunately, I've seen that they have some things on the wall saying, no cell phone zone. Turn your cell phone off or turn it on silent. If you talk, go out.
That just happened to me yesterday. I was in one of the internet places.
Yeah.
I came down just to check my email for a few minutes, and sitting next to me was somebody on a loud conversation, doing some business, then hanging up, and then his cell goes off again, and with this with some kind of crazy song, you know, and I'm thinking, that's the worst cell phone ring I've ever heard. What's wrong with
Thank
this
you.
person?
Wonderful, Lisa. Here we go. Thank you that you share that. Okay. So these people are really impossible. I mean, the way they behave, they are inconsiderate, have no idea what they're doing to the environment, and really should be taught. Right? So that's the judgment. That's I have. All right? I mean, unless I realize I'm having a judgment. No, that's the helpful part of this nonviolent communication. At least with nonviolent communication I can see, all right, I have a judgment. Something triggers me. In my situation, the trigger came, here the observation. I hear this voice and hear this music. In your case, in my case, the voice. So that was the trigger, the stimulus. So I have a choice. When I'm in the habitual fur of, and I assure you, I'm not free of this fur. We are all always both. I don't want to make a world of giraffes and a world of jackals. I don't want to continue to help to have better people and less good people. We are all both. We are both a bit of a giraffe and a bit of a jackal. So when I'm in that mode, exasperated, I have a judgment, right, about this person. A second block that one day somebody is going to create for me is criticism.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, wrong. Sorry.
C-I-I-P-I-S-M.
Sorry.
All right. I was trying to be
criticized.
open to what is going to come next.
Sorry.
I'm glad I can share the responsibility. Criticism is another form where I show that I'm smart. You know? And we so much want to be smart. So, with criticism, I'm showing that I know better to this other person. And the criticism might come out and saying, your cell phone is too loud. You know, or could you have your conversation outside? This is what criticism is about. But we don't say what we're criticizing, we just ask the other person to do something. So we sort of refrain ourselves from any judgment. We just go right to the place where we ask for an action. And of course we know when we're coming from a place of criticism or judgment, the other person will not do it willingly. They may do it with a face like that, roll their eyes, of saying, I'm paying internet right now. Every moment is precious. And then we are in a little conversation. So if it's precious for you, why do you call on the phone? Just do your internet and then I can do mine. And we both have quiet. I need to concentrate. That would be good if I could say I want to concentrate. At least that's something from here. That's my need. So criticism is one of the things that people like to do because I can show that I know better. This is the next one. What do you think comes next? The blame game. Actually, the blame shame game is a very usual, habitual game. There is fault in another person. And I used to live in Germany for 18 years. And my, at the time, husband, his first question when something went wrong was, who did that? In other words, who is to blame? Of course, he knew at the time, after a while, that this is the kind of thing that ticks me off. But it still is something that I hear very frequently. Who is to blame? Maybe not as overtly would you say, who did that? But in groups with children, for example, this is very obvious. The children get the question or try to find, and I'm working in Montessori school, and it's interesting to see that children are very fast in identifying who's to blame, and it's not them. It never is me, it's always somebody else. So children are more innocent in that blame game. They make it very obvious, you know. We may cover it up a little more diplomatically. But in the end, we are trying to find whose fault is it. So here again, that's how we occupy, how we busy our mind. We use this brain here. We try to find the fault. So here we go, another block that blocks me from connecting with other people. I could actually say blame and shame. The shame has another quality to it, you know. The shame has the quality of almost putting down. Punishment, yeah, could come in there. And then there is another block. I've forgotten it at the moment. I'm very embarrassed. I don't know it at the moment, but there are many blocks, I know, but I want to have a few. Yes, now it comes. The label. You see, when we can wait, when I forget something, the good thing is it may come back. It actually did. Isn't that good news? And yesterday I forgot the name of an author and somebody in the audience knew it. Isn't that wonderful that we have a helper out there? So, labels. Especially with people we have known for a while. You're always late. It's a label. Or you're so petty. It's a label. It's also a judgment. But it's putting the other person in boxes. And there is a whole other class of labels that disconnect us. And that other class is, he is a politician or she is a politician. Politicians are. That's a label. Or she or he is a teacher. Of course, he or she, whatever, because they're a teacher. Or I can be a little a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a doctor, a mother. Teenagers. All these are labels that keep us, because we have that label, you see, this is a construct already. We don't really look at the person because we look through that glass. Or reverent. I hope we have no reverence around here because they might be offended. So when we put these glasses on, we don't see the person. And that's very easily happening in politics. I can do that. I can show here. It's interesting. I still have troubles seeing a person when I hear or read in the paper or on email politicians speak. So I still have these labels. I just want you to know they're strong, these things, because they're happening and everybody's doing it. The writing we read in the papers, the television we see is helping in that sense. What do you want to expect? It's a politician. They have to do this game. So we dehumanize each other through these labels. Or here on the island, you have people who are involved in organizations, public organizations. Well, what do you want? It's an officer. That's their job. That's how they are. They start work at 8 and they drop the pencil at 5. Stuff like that. You know, this is labeling. And it disconnects us from the humanity. There are more, but I'm not going to go in there anymore. Yeah?
You always, you never.
Yeah.
That generalization.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, generalization.
Or this is how you were last week, and you never change. This is how you are today. Seeing somebody from the past.
Yep, that's right. So we stick the label on. You always, you never. You get that? That's how we stick them.
It's also I guess the system they're saying, you know, hey, I work for the state.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they
It's not my
accept it.
fault.
Yeah. And I'm a state worker or
Yep.
house
I do what I'm
worker.
told.
You know,
I decide nothing. It's all decided up there.
it's like the Nuremberg trials.
Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. So usually I don't bring it in foundation trainings, but I'm finding out that it's helpful for people to have their own. They can look at the mirror. You know, I can look into the mirror when I'm saying that. I still do that. I still catch myself. The beauty of this, the invitation here is that we're invited to see. We're invited to, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. It's bringing a consciousness and an awareness without saying, that's what you're doing. You know, I'm really hoping, for those of you who hear that for the first time, I'm really hoping that you're not going to make use of the consciousness of that in putting yourself down and saying, oh, here I go, I'm judging. This is bad. Please do not judge yourself for judging. Notice, just notice. That's all I'm asking for.